Hey, it's another week, another recipe, and today we are making Crybaby Cookies from the 1920s to help us get through February. And who doesn't like a good cookie? Come join me. Hey everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Courtney Morris, and I cook history's forgotten recipes out of random cookbooks I find, sometimes websites, and sometimes viewer submissions, which are always the best. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoy the video. I hope you enjoy the community. Join the community, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you every week. And if you're coming back for more, hello again. I hope you enjoy this recipe as much as I hope I will. Let's go. I was perusing my little archives of recipes that I kind of pick out that I think would be fun to do, and I found a very warm sounding cookie. They're called Crybaby Cookies from 1922 in a cookbook from Ladies' Aid of the Congregational Church entitled The Old Mission Cookbook. And I love church cookbooks because they kind of crack me up just a little bit. There's a little bit you can tell of tension and competition between these recipes and the ladies who put them in. And the wording underneath the title was, I'll try to post it underneath in the description or on the screen for you if I remember. But basically said, if you don't know how to cook, you're gonna get a divorce. And it's just like, okay, so because this is an old recipe, it gives no instructions. It basically says drop in greased pan and ice with powdered sugar, and that's the extent of it aside from your ingredients. So I'm just gonna do 350 degrees. It's preheating right now, and I'm just gonna kind of watch it at like maybe 5-minute increments. As usual, I will post the actual recipe, but I'm gonna half the recipe. I'm the only one that can eat table sugar in my family, so I don't need a lot of these. And if it doesn't taste good, then I don't want a lot of these. So we need a half cup of sugar, a half cup of lard as well. And a lovely viewer told me to not whisk it together in a bowl, but use my spatula to mush it together. So, okay, it's starting to warm up a little bit. But if you end up melting it, you're gonna get a different consistency in your cookies. Same with butter, Crisco, whatever. And you can substitute out lard for Crisco or butter. Just know that it's gonna give you a little different of a consistency in your end product, than sticking to the original recipes. That actually worked a lot better than a whisk. So thank you for that. Then we need to get 1 egg in here. I can say that after doing a bunch of these recipes the old-fashioned way by hand in a bowl, making my arm hurt, I love my KitchenAid so much. It's times like these where it's like, you know, it's not that big of a hardship. It's doable. It's not like it's any big thing to complain about, but honestly, it's like, I love modern conveniences. Okay, so I did switch to my whisk, and it's working so much better. So that is put together, and now I need a half cup of molasses. I'm using mild flavor. They do come in mild flavor or regular. Regular tends to be strong, think like strong gingerbread flavor. I've got both, but this is just the first thing that was in my pantry, so. And the reason this is pouring so well is because I had to warm it up because I could not get it out. My house is so cold that I had to warm up my molasses to even get it out of the bottle. It's already smelling like Christmas, and goodness knows, January is a hard month to get through. February is getting better, but now that we're supposedly having 6 more weeks of winter, I'm back in January mode, so anything to liven the mood. Next is a half a cup of coffee. It says hot. Now I'm using just the regular Walmart brand instant coffee. You can use decaf. And the reason that this is used is because it enhances flavors of molasses and of chocolate. You would be hard-pressed to go to a bakery and find a chocolate cake that does not have coffee in it because of the nutty flavor and the enhancement of the chocolate. If you didn't have it in there, it tends to give just an overly sweet but very bland chocolate flavor. So if you have a robust cake that's very moist and very velvety chocolate, like rich chocolate, it probably has coffee in it. Also, I like to use the instant coffee because it's just an instant thing, and I only ever use this for baking, so it's sat in there for years. I don't know if it's any good anymore, but you know, if you're gonna bake the crap out of it at 300-400 degrees, you may as well just hang on to it. Half teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of cloves, half teaspoon ginger. This is already sounding like gingerbread to me, quite honestly. I've never made these before, obviously, but this is sounding very familiar, and it smells really good. 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and then half of a heaping teaspoon of baking powder. Heaping means like this. So now once baking powder hits liquid, anything with water base, it starts to activate. So you don't necessarily want to let this sit for a good amount of time because you'll lose all the bubbles from that chemical reaction. So we're gonna quick put in 2.5 cups of flour. Okay, and we're gonna mix this around. These are gonna be a drop cookie, so I'm guessing they're gonna be a little more sticky than your average cookie dough. I was right, it is a drop cookie. It's too sticky to roll in your hands, so you won't be doing cookie balls, or even the scoops, you're gonna have a problem with a cookie scoop. So this is gonna be a drop recipe off of a spoon. But I'm kind of excited about this, and you know what, even if it turns out like gingerbread, I'll take Christmas again, minus all the stress. I'll take the Christmas food again. Let's just do that. Okay, I'm gonna shove everything that direction. You can tell I'm not really one of those people who think about cleaning up in the middle of things. I kind of just let it explode and then at the end go, crap. Okay, so it says to put on a greased baking sheet. I'm using a silicone baking sheet. It works just fine, and honestly I think a little better. Plus then I can save myself from really cleaning my pan. So it says to drop them by the teaspoon, and I don't have a teaspoon, but I have a dinner spoon. So there's part of me that doesn't like drop cookies because of the ununiform shape. It's not circular. It's just, sometimes they don't turn out really pretty looking, especially if they're brown. So if it were me, I would almost be very tempted to just up the flour and make it a not sticky dough. But as you can see, it's stuck in my fingers. But we are experimenting with history. And this is what the recipe said to do. I don't know what to think about exactly this. It's kind of one of those things that kind of look not great, but I have a feeling you're gonna taste awesome. I'm gonna stick them in, so I'm gonna stick them in my oven at 350. I'm gonna start at 5 minutes. Usually cookies tend to take between 8 and 10, but everybody's oven's also different. So a good starting point for cookies is 5 minutes, and then go up by 2-minute increments until you get where you want it to be. So I'm gonna go put those in, and then I'm gonna go speed fold some laundry in that 5 minutes. I'll be back. All right, well, it turns out that my laundry wasn't dry after all. So we're gonna do the second part of this recipe, which is ice with powdered sugar. So again, no instructions, but this is super simple. It's just powdered sugar and water to it's consistency that you can drizzle over. That would be like a donut glaze. I'm just gonna start with a small amount. That's about half a cup-ish, and a teeny bit of water. Little bits at a time, otherwise you're gonna make soup, and then you're gonna find you're using a lot of powdered sugar. And if you don't have powdered sugar, know that you can always make it in the blender with 1 part regular table sugar and 1 part cornstarch. So if it's a half cup of sugar, half cup of cornstarch, pulverize the crap out of it, and you got yourself some powdered sugar. I have now got it to a consistency where I can drizzle it. One of the ways to get a delicious chewy fudgy cookie is not to overcook them. So see how on the bottom it's still toasted, but it's not dark brown. It's a very light toast, and it does not come up over the edge. That will result in a very dry cookie. So it'll look undercooked for a little bit, but let it cool like this, and eventually you're gonna have a lovely chewy fudgy cookie. All right, these are done, and they smell like Christmas. And you know what? If I just made Christmas cookies in February, I'm okay with that. So I'm gonna drizzle this icing on. Baking tip, if you didn't know, icing is powdered sugar based, frosting is a fat based. So I'm just going to drizzle this on. I'm just gonna let it drip from the spoon. I don't know if I made enough. I feel like I need sprinkles, but I think that's just because it's a gray day and I need a little like festiveness. But let's see how it goes. Okay, that has a good amount of icing on it. Oh, that's good. You know, I'm okay with Christmas in February. And they are such a perfectly light but chewy, dense, fudgy inside. So these are somewhere in the middle between gingersnaps and molasses cookies. It's not quite either. It has the hints and the flavors of both, but it's a kind of middle ground. And it's very, very good. The spices are warm. I still don't know why they're called crybabies. I Googled for about 30 minutes and I have nothing. I don't know why. I really don't know why, other than I could weep for the fact that they're really pretty good. I don't know. If you know, please let me know in the comments. I'd be super interested, because it Pisses me off when Google can't tell me these things, because if Google doesn't know, then nobody knows, right? Okay, well, did I get my sweet tooth fixed? Yes. Did I get my I need something warm and sweet to go with a cup of tea because it's freezing outside fixed? Betcha. Would I recommend these? Yes, I totally would. These are fantastic, great. I could see they'd be dry if overcooked like any other cookie. But remember, just toast them lightly on the bottom and let them sit for a little bit, and they're gonna be perfect. Thank you for coming with me today on this experiment from 1922. I love it when old recipes turn out. I feel like we've been on a pretty good rash of pretty good recipes, which is always a good thing. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time in my corner of the internet. Please comment down below. I'd love to talk with you. And if you want to send me a recipe, I'll put the email address on the screen here as well as in the description below with this recipe as usual. And until next time, if you need something else to watch, if you'd still like to hang out in my kitchen with me, check out this video right here. It was a pretty dang good one, and I actually do want to make this again here sometime soon. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you next week with a new historical recipe. Bye.